brakes out, but I just thought I'd come out here and say, damn, that's a lot of bad weather coming my way. All right, there's Big South Hills. Girls and boys are out ready to play, and the grass is really tall. I guess you can't tell where they poop in it. All right, let's get in there. Oh, and by the way, you guys who've been watching my videos, this is a 35-foot Holiday Rambler, 1976 model, and it's using the same style 944 hubs, but it's sitting on 5,200-pound spindles and axles. So, yeah, I mean, you can see the massive size. I'm gonna just give you a picture of that, then I'll pause and we'll look at that other one, and you can see the massive size difference here of what we're dealing with, so you can understand why they use this multi-hub for everything. All right, come on. All right, so now coming off of that Holiday Rambler and that big storm rolling up and Thor walking by. It's Thor, he's and so I want you to see the difference now. Now you look at that difference and look at the other hub. So this one here is 3,500, the hub. That one on the Holiday Rambler, right before we walked in here, you can see the difference. It's as big as this soda can around, how the soda can fits over the end of this one. So that's to tell you why this 944 was so universally used. However, we are going to change them out to these. So I'll pause. We're going to go over and start taking off that. And these are about those Libra trailer parts brake kits that I got. I got a few of these already painted sitting in here. That's a left, that's a right, and I went ahead and marked it on the brake material itself so that they're marked. We know where they go, because these swing arms are very important. How you set up the swing arm for the direction of the brake. See that arm right there? They're right and left, and you'll get a pair of them if you order them like I did. So, and I'll put that down there where you can read it in my description and links. So this is where we're going to start. We're about ready here. We're going to make it real easy. So what we're going to do, other than follow Emma and Thor there, we're going to just simply take this cap off, pull that cotter pin, take the castle nut, and pull the whole assembly straight off. All right, so now I've got the jack underneath on the axle. Do one at a time, safer that way. And typical tools you'll need. You're just gonna need a hammer, a flat screwdriver, and a pair of good, I recommend Douglas. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna put you a link. Best damn pliers you'll ever buy. Hardened like hell. And you can grab and turn 1.5-inch pipe with these things and adjust them with one hand while you're under the car working, man. Awesome shit. So I'll put a link to you to get those. They don't have them all the time, but you can either get Douglas or Pasco, and these are dynamite pliers. So this is all you need: hammer, flat tip screwdriver, and a good pair of pliers. I don't recommend channel locks. Channel locks slip. All right, so let's get this cap off and pull the cap. Get your rags ready. It's always messy. Same thing. Adjust your pliers there. If you have channel locks, it might take you a minute. Get your cotter pin straightened out real fast and easy. There we go. All right, I'll get her up just a little bit. And with a pair of these, you get some amazing torque on them. So we just pull that baby right on out. All right, so now that's out. Same tool, easily adjustable. If I can get my fingers right. And you pull the castle nut. All right, castle nut's loose. Use some paper towels to get that dirty thing out of there. So let's get there. Castle nut's out. I set myself up a parts board. Keeps the crap off my concrete. And all that's left now is clean it good so you don't have to spill the crap everywhere. Is pull the wheel off, hub and all. Now remove the old-fashioned wheel and hub, and get over here to your brakes. So I'll have to cut the pause to this, but it's pretty simple. There's 4 bolts. They're right here on the back. Spray it with a little penetrating oil on the backs of the bolts back here. Right back here's the bolts. Clean your spindle very well. I suggest using plenty of paper towels. I'll unbolt it. We'll go from there. All right, now I've removed all the nuts off the back of the brakes, and the nuts that are on there are going to be a 11/16 generally. Some of them are 5/8, but most of them are 11/16, and I do believe that's a 7/16 thread that is on the studs that will go into your electric brake assemblies. So you want to make sure that the nut that you remove will, in fact, before you start pushing things around in here, fit onto the brake assembly that you have just recently got. You want to make sure that what you get does in fact fit. Okay, so make sure they go on well. Now these nuts are made specifically, if I can show you here, they have a creased edge inside, so they're made to actually kind of like be a lock nut. They will come off, they will go back on well, but generally not great. So if you want to replace them, I'd suggest it, but since these are very old, very good quality American steel, I'm holding on to my nuts. How you like that? Holding on to my nuts. Smart move. So this brake is ready to come off. The wires have been cut and prepped for the new brake. Just straight off, and it will leave your nice big dirty flange, which I would suggest cleaning up and painting like the rest of it, and laying you a rag over the top of your spindle or wrapping one around it, and then paint to protect the surface of your metals. Now we have the spindle and brake support cleaned and painted, and we're ready to go ahead and get these brakes on. Let's get this one bolted on and we'll go to the next step. All right, now as far as wiring up your brakes, one of them goes to ground and one goes to the blue wire, generally coming from your brake controller, whether or not it's 5, 6, or a 7 prong outlet. And you can just put this to a ground as close as you want, or you can go back like I did to the box right there and ran me new wires all the way back. So I have one of them that's equal length. All of these are equal length because wire is resistance, and you'll end up having one brake. One of these brakes will have more power to the magnet. And the way that these work, if you're wondering how electric brakes work, you see that magnet right there. That's the magnet, and it has a material on it, and it has a coil inside. The coil will energize, and the magnet will get pulled out and into the surface right here of the drum. That magnet will run along that sacrificial surface, and you see it's thicker. See, it's a little thicker, and it'll expand the brakes outward. So you can see when I pull it out and then slide it this way, it pushes on the drum set. So that's the way that the drum electric brakes will work. Now your truck or your brake controller has a pendulum inside of it. So when you hit the brakes, that pendulum will slide forward and it'll adjust a solid state controller that's pulse width modulation. And it'll start out with about 4 volts. So it's just kind of, the magnet's just barely grabbing and just tugging on the brakes a little. Or if you hit the brakes pretty hard, the pendulum swings real far, it'll put full power and the magnet will really grab good, and you'll sometimes even lock them up. So the second thing is being sure that this adjustment, which is right under here, is correct, so that when you put your hubs on, you want to just to start making contact with them. That's the perfect way of setting them up. And there is a little small keyway back here, a little piece of plastic you'll see on the back of them, and similar to this older one, this little piece right here, you put a regular flat tip screwdriver in there, and you can work your gear that is right here. So that gear right here will spread apart your brake shoes to tighten or loosen your brake shoes. So now let's get the bearings and the rest of this put together. This is on, and we'll finish the wiring, put the hub on, and that new wheel, and see how it looks with that compared to this one. All right, now I've got the hub sitting on. It isn't pushed all the way back, and I haven't yet made up the brakes, but I want you to know that when you buy one of these kits, you're not going to get your washer. You're not going to get that. You will not get a cotter pin. And the reason is simple, because some of these spindles have a different count thread. Some of them have like a star type washer. You know, it's got 2 or 3 little notches in it that will go on there. So there's no purpose in sending you that. And your castle nut does not come with it, because it is pretty specific to the thread count that might be on your spindle. You get your castle nut put back on, and just get it to touch, and then push back on your brakes, on your hub. That way your bearing doesn't fall out on you. And you're just going to tighten these up like what I do here generally. I will just tighten these up. You gotta love those channel locks. Oh, and by the way, here's the other pair. They're Pasco Reed. So Reed Manufacturing, made in the USA. I'll get you guys a link to both those. Look at all that welding splatter. Hasn't damaged them one damn bit. So I use these a lot. Pump pliers are about the best you can get. So I'll take it, and just like this, I'll walk it in a little bit, and then I'll just give this a little spin, see if it turns. And then what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll just back off enough to where I can get my cotter pin in the next hole back. Because being that these are new bearings, it's okay if you allow, it's okay if you're pretty firm when you tighten down, just as long as you back off from good full contact, a good quarter turn, and you're fine. And get your cotter pin in and your cap on, which we'll have that, and the brakes. As soon as I cut and get back, I'll have that on, and then we'll be ready for the wheel. All right, so now we have the hub on. We have the grease cap, the cover, and it's looking kind of nice. Now, this is what we were originally working with, and this is what we've gone to. So you can see the difference. And I just removed the other one, hub and all, just with one nut, just the castle nut. So remember that the castle nut and the washer do not come with these. So do not throw yours away if you take them off anticipating ordering a set. So this is the wheel that's going on compared to this one. These can be balanced. These can too, but very difficult to, and you can only get them about 50-60% accurate. So this you can get extremely accurate with balancing, and they have been. So now what we're going to do is, we have the lug nuts for it, and we're going to go ahead and put it on here. So, one-handed, which won't be a first. All right, so now, that took a second. So, now we have it on, and you can tell from spacing, they're both almost identical. This one is a little different. Not by much, not enough to matter as far as, I don't know if you can see that, the spacing. It's 1 inch and about 3/8 of clearance away from the fenders. And wag on my leaf springs is only about 1/4 inch, so doesn't move at all. All right, so now you can see the benefit and the difference. So both of these have the same amount of outer fender clearance. They're both the same style tire. This is a 16 inch, this is a 15 inch. This one here has a lot more sidewall flex in it, even though it's a strong tire. And this one here is a Mastercraft, I believe made by Michelin. And there's the cover for it. The grease cap does protrude past. I fully expected that. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole through the Lincoln emblem and pop this back on, and it will be a trailer with nice caps on it too. So we went from the 944 wheel that's been around for 40, 50 years, 70 years technically since they first came out, still in service today a lot. And as you see at the beginning of the video, it's a multi-use wheel, works for a lot of stuff, mainly because, as I've said in the other videos, the weight is on these points, not the bolts. This wheel, however, the weight is on the bolts, but it's a better design. it still carry the weight that we're after and what we're wanting to achieve with it. That's what you get. This will roughly run you about $75 per side or per wheel for each one you're going to do. Is it worth it? You tell me. Y'all look for the next videos of finishing up of this trailer.